Hello, everybody. My name is Isaiah Sanchez, and I'm going to explain the difference between the general motor ability hypothesis and the specificity of motor abilities hypothesis. But before talking about the differences between the two, one must know what an ability is. So, the term ability can be defined as the generic characteristics of an individual that predicts and determines your innate performance, or more simply, the max potential you are able to perform a specific motor skill. When looking at the general motor ability hypothesis, it can be summarized by saying if a person is highly skilled in one specific motor skill, that person would likely become just as skilled in any other motor skill. In this hypothesis, though there are many different types of motor skills, it can be all characterized into one general criteria or general skill. An example of this would be a multi-sport athlete in completely different disciplines, such as baseball and swimming, excelling just as equally in both respective sports. Basically saying if you are good at one skill, you'll be good at all of them. On the contrary, the specificity of motor abilities hypothesis states that the motor abilities are unique and independent to one another. This hypothesis implies that there's little to no relationship between any mobile abilities and skills, and just because a person has high ability in one criteria does not mean they are just as capable in another different motor ability. An example of this specificity of motor abilities hypothesis could be the timing, such as reaction time, for example, knowing when to swing in baseball, or taking off after the buzzer in swim or track, or movement speed, such as how fast one can run the first base, or how fast someone can complete a lap around the track. Another example of two completely different motor skills is balance, specifically while being static or still or in motion, which is dynamic. Just because one person has good skill and ability in yoga and stretching, which is static balance, does not mean they will be particularly good at something that requires dynamic balance, like jumping rope on one foot or standing on a Bosu ball. The latter of the two hypotheses has much more substantial support and research done, making it much more acceptable than the general motor abilities hypothesis. Hopefully that was clear enough, and if you guys have any questions, just let me know.